Peace to everyone. Just want to give you guys a little brief demonstration of my Natchez style war club. Now, I made this initially as a basic curved atussa with no ball on it, but I realized that it was not complete. And so what I did is I actually cut a notch into it. And you see right there, there's a section that I basically had to glue an extra piece onto before adding more layers of wood. So I had 3 layers and realized it wasn't big enough to make a full ball, so I added 2 more layers onto it, most of which I had to cut off. Like I had to cut at least half of the thickness off each side of those 5th pieces, or 1st and 5th pieces. Yeah, so anyway, did some filing, did some orbital sanding, did some cutting with my saw, with my box cutter, did some filing, and then I put a bunch of Type on 3 wood glue to kind of treat it for the time being. I am going to probably sand all that off, at least not all of it, but you know, I will sand a good amount of it off. I kind of wanted to seal it. I also had to fill in some little cut marks, little sawtooth marks there. And I plan on painting this thing probably like a red ochre color. So, but anyway, I love this thing. I love it, you know. Okay, you can cut straight down, thrust, boom, pommel. Okay. I prefer to use the ball side. This thing will ruin your day and then some. Okay, use this side, not going to be as strong of a strike. This makes so much more sense. Now, if you're to cut this thing right about here, it would look more like your typical ball war club. This is basically a cross between, and of course, a predecessor to both the Gunstock War Club as well as the Ball War Club that we typically see from the Eastern Woodlands. And while there's no surviving examples left of the Natchez style Ball Club, there is a pictorial example, which is the inspiration for this. But yeah, made this from red oak, Home Depot, Home Cheapo. And yeah, you still see there's like little markings I had to kind of fill in. I'm gonna do some sanding, and I like the grain, but the grain's also not consistent because of the lamination. But we'll see. We'll see. Originally, I was thinking of taking this before I added the ball to it, and just kind of doing some wood dye. But I think that painting this thing red would probably be very fitting, especially a flat, again, I believe like an ochre, I think is the term they use, color. I want to look as naturalistic as possible because I want to be a pretty authentic looking piece, even though the construction itself is not authentic. For one, the type of wood, red oak is not exactly the most indigenous source of oak in this country. Also, you would have made this thing out of a single piece of tree, not basically what amounts to being 5 pieces of wood actually all cut from the same piece of board. So, see, I like to recycle my stuff. I don't like to throw things away if I don't have to. So, but yeah, boom, boom, you know, pommel strike, boom. You hit forward like that, here, you know, both hands. And this is with no piece of bone or iron or steel sticking out of it. Okay, this will crack your skull. Okay, this thing will F you up, man, I'm telling you. And if this were white oak, it'd be even better. White oak, I've noticed from experience, you could leave out in the rain. It'll get dark, but it'll still be good. Red oak, you leave it out in the weather, it can get damaged pretty quickly with water. So that's why you got to treat it as soon as possible. But if you linseed oil it, boiled linseed oil is actually pretty good. And my other war club that's of a similar size and material, actually got a few of these in this same material because, you know, it's a cheaper oak to find. They are pretty durable once you bevel them and sand them and use linseed oil. I'm not going to bevel this one too much. I'm probably going to keep it relatively flat because as far as the Gunstock War Clubs are concerned, most evidence that I've seen is that they're pretty flat. They're not typically beveled like you'll see on the cold steel version, which I'm going to buy one of. Midway USA, they're 25 bucks right now. Spend over 100 bucks, you get free shipping, something like that. There's also 20% discount on top of that for something else. Anyway, Midway USA, check them out. They got a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, this thing, homemade, baby. And then, let's see. Got a smaller one for my boy. Now, this thing is still good for an adult. I mean, you can still... This thing will still do some damage, okay? I mean, seriously, man. I mean, for real. You have this part, you have this part, you know, like even just coming up and barely getting you with that tip would be painful, okay? Getting hit here would suck, but getting here is gonna be, it's gonna be game over, okay? I can see myself getting hit like this and walking away from it, okay? Getting hit with this, especially here. Now, I mean, I have a thick skull, man, but I don't know about that. So yeah, this is, it's a pretty cool weapon, man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not just saying because I made it myself. I mean, this thing will F you up, man, okay? So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this brief video on the Natchez War Club. I might do a more expanded version as time goes on. I just want to give you guys a basic view. If you checked out my previous video on the use of the various types of Gunstock War Clubs, you will already see comparable material for this. It handles pretty similarly, I mean, except this has a ball on it. But it still has that kind of gunstock shape to it, kind of. And yeah, it's got a very similar feel to it. So the balance is actually pretty good. I mean, weapons will tell you how they want to be used. They will. Not all weapons are equal, but they will tell you how they want to be used. This thing, you know, you can come up. You definitely come up, you know, kind of like a half sword. Not half sword, sorry. False edge, parry upward. You know, you can do that. You can block, you can grab, you can strike, you can strike again. Again, that whole thrust to the face, thrust to the temple, okay? Pommel, you know, if you watch Last of the Mohicans, Chingachgook takes his gunstock club and at some point he pommels somebody in the face. It's pretty awesome, okay? Yeah, this is a pretty sweet tool, okay? Obviously, it's not going to stand up against, you know, gunpowder and lead, but I mean, hand to hand, man, this thing is, I would prefer this over Tomahawk, personally. I definitely would. But a lot of our, you know, grandfathers of old had a tendency to want all the new, the cool new thing, and Tomahawks definitely were a cool new thing when it came to iron or steel or even brass with steel bit edges, Tomahawks, because all those types existed. So yeah, man. Two-handed, you can definitely get some power. I feel I have more control with single-handed, but going straight down, cut 7, even cuts 1 and 2. Do with the two-handed for 5 and 6. better with the single-handed. Kind of the same thing with cuts 3 and 4. Yeah, love this thing. Anyway, Mado for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to maybe come up with some answers for you. Until next time, Hadam Teach Athletes.